In project 2, we're going to take a look at creating a chart again, but then we're going to look at how we can change the chart type, the layout, and the style, and then we'll also learn to move the chart to a new sheet. They describe these various options, the chart style and changing the data series, on page 246, and then we are going to begin project 2A. I've already opened the DI Tech Department Purchase Workbook and have named it as they've requested. And we're going to begin first of all by creating creating a chart again, just like we did in project 1. However, rather than pressing Alt F1 to generate a bar chart and position it immediately on the worksheet, we're going to go a different route to include a chart. And but we will take the steps that you would in any chart creation, and that is selecting the cells that you want to include in that chart. So for this one, we are going to create a bar chart that includes the departments and their amounts. So you select that first, and then we're going to go to the Insert tab. In the Charts group, we're going to go to the bar chart, and the type of chart we're going to start out initially is cylinder. That still puts it on the worksheet. You can move it as you wish, resize it. All those can be done, just like we did in project 1. If you'll notice, as you created the chart, the contextual tabs, Chart Tools, Design, Layout, and Format appear, and all those buttons pertain to the chart itself. However, if you click outside of the chart so that it's no longer selected, those tabs disappear. So we're going to take a look initially here of changing columns and rows within the chart. So if we have marketing research on the left-hand side, we can certainly switch that so that that information now becomes, I guess it would be rows, and it will appear as our legend. So not real sure that switching the columns and rows is always beneficial, but it certainly is an option. When you switch those, I'm going to click on the Switch Row Column option. Notice how it takes those out of the vertical axis there and puts them as a legend, so that each one of these data series now represents a color, and you can see what the colors represent in the legend. So just know that that's there. You can make those changes as you wish. Next, we're going to change the chart type so that it's a 3D cylinder. And again, from your ribbon in the type group, you're going to choose Change Chart Type, and we want it to be a column, so the column category, and then we want 3D cylinder. Okay, so you can click on that to select it and then click OK. And that changes it to a 3D cylinder. Again, slightly different approach. If you have these identifiers along your axis, then you do not need a legend, and you can just click on that, press delete, and that removes it. Okay, I'm going to undo that so that you can see those. Alright, and then next we're going to take a look at changing the chart layout, and this is in project 2B. But before doing that, they are going to ask us to change the chart type again to a 3D clustered column. So again, I'm going to go back to the Change Chart Type, and it's already set at the column. We're going to choose the 3D Clustered Column option. Again, I'm going to select it, click OK, and that changes it once again. And then we're going to look at the layouts. And again, on the ribbon, if you look at the Chart Layout group, you should see Quick Layout. There's about 10 different layouts that you have options to use. If you lay your mouse on any of those, you'll see tooltips as to which layout they are. We want Layout 1, and notice it's going to put a chart title and legend and information at the bottom, which we already have the information at the bottom, and we have a legend, but we don't have a title. So it puts a placeholder in there for your title. Obviously, chart title is not very descriptive, and they don't have us changing that right now, but in real life you would want that changed to describe what the contents are in the chart. Then the style of the chart we're also going to change. Again, up on the ribbon, if you look at the Chart Styles group, we want Style 34, and I'm going to expand the More gallery. Click on the More button to expand the chart style gallery. 34, I think, is next to the bottom row. Yeah, I'm going to click on that. That applies that particular style of colors to our chart. And then next we're going to take this chart and move it to a different sheet, a new sheet, by itself, not necessarily on sheet 2, sheet 3, but to create a new sheet and position this chart on a sheet by itself. To do that, again on the ribbon in the location group, we're going to click on Move Chart. We want to move it to a new sheet, and whatever the title is in here will be displayed as kind of a default name. You could change that title right here. If you don't, I'm going to click OK. It puts the chart, this new sheet, in front of your existing sheet that had the data that we used to create the chart. So sheet 1 has the data. Notice it moved the chart out of it. It's in a chart by itself called chart 2. At this point you could rename it like we've renamed sheet tabs previously. Alright, now that once they've got it moved to a new sheet of its own, they now want you to move it to sheet 2, which is an existing sheet. So what will happen here is it'll actually delete this sheet and move it to sheet 2. We're going to take the same steps as far as getting to the Move Chart dialog box. This time though we're going to use the Object In, and if we click on the drop down arrow, that'll list out all the sheets that we have within our workbook, and we're going to select sheet 2 and click OK. And notice now chart 2, or whatever that new chart tab was, it's deleted that out and it's moved the chart to sheet 2. And now you could move it, resize it, whatever you need to do on this new sheet. Keep in mind that even though we've got the chart on a different sheet, if you make changes to the sheet that has the data in it on which the chart was created, for example the administration amount, let me go back to sheet 2. The administration amount is showing as the 33,500, but if we change that, let's go back to sheet 1, if we change that to 50,000, it'll automatically update it in sheet 2 to reflect that. So the amounts, even though they're on a different sheet, if they're changed and if they're linked to this chart, they'll automatically be updated in the chart.